Hey, it's Matt and welcome to this week's Brain Hack. The study I'm going to tell you about today absolutely fascinated me because if you're anything like me, I get to certain points in my business, in my life, where I've had enough. I am at my absolute breaking point. I have zero self-control left. And there are certain circumstances where I say something or do something that I should not have said or done. Right? It's that, comment that I wish I could take back. It's, having performed some act that, oh man, if I could only rewind just a few minutes, I wouldn't have done that. And it doesn't have to be something huge. It doesn't have to be something just absolutely terrible. It can be just little things that we do because we all, I believe, get to that breaking point, right? We're dealing with so much in our daily grind, the frustrations, feelings of being overwhelmed, of just making life work, right? Of trying to create this life that we ultimately want. And it can be difficult to get there. So I think we all have that breaking point. I know in athletics you see it often, right? You hear the sports writers and commentators on ESPN and Fox Sports talking about that one athlete who they just lost it, right? They missed that point, they missed that hit. Something happened where emotionally they just go bonkers and wacko and they acted like they never have acted before. So that's that self-control reserve, right? And so these researchers at the University of South Wales, in conjunction with some other universities in the United States, they sought out to look at this concept of self-control as it compares to aggression, right? At what point do we start to become aggressive with our words and our actions? And they looked at it almost as this self-control reserve, saying we only have so much self-control throughout the day. Right? Unless we're taking care of ourselves, unless we are recharging and resting, that self-control reserve will grow lower and lower to a point at which we will explode. We will lose it. I know I've had that happen to me a time or two in my life. So what they did is they wanted to figure out if we can build self-control, right? Can we become tougher when faced with life's adversity? So that breaking point, it extends out further into the future and hopefully we never reach it. So what they did through this study was run by Dr. Denson, and he brought in a bunch of different individuals, and over a 2-week period he had them, and this sounds really interesting to me, but he had them perform very simple tasks with their non-dominant hand. Right? So if I normally wake up and I make a cup of coffee in the morning and I happen to be right-handed, I would stir that coffee with my left hand to engage a different part of the brain, to see if I could kind of push through that something new, right, which could be frustrating because I want to use my right hand. That's easier that way, but challenging myself with something difficult, something different, to stir it with my left hand. It could be opening doors with your non-dominant hand, brushing your teeth. Could be a whole slew of different things, but they had these individuals come in for 2 straight weeks, perform these tasks, and then they came back at the end and they tested them. And they ran them through very similar tests at the beginning to kind of get their baseline than they did at the end. And what they found was the individuals who performed these non-routine tasks with their non-routine hands, they were less likely to show aggression when pushed a little bit, as they were trying to do through this study. So I find this fascinating. They even put them through brain scans, and what they saw was that the parts of the brains associated with self-control, they were lighting up as they were pushed with this aggression, right? As they were pushed to their limit through this study. I find that fascinating. So I wondered myself, like, wow, how can I build my self-control? Because, I've got 3 kids. That's difficult. I sometimes get to my breaking point. I'm married. Hopefully my wife's not watching this, but I sometimes get to my breaking point, and I know she does that with me too. So we all have this opportunity to build that self-control. And that's why I wanted to tell you about that study from the University of South Wales. That's why my challenge for the next 2 weeks is for you to recreate that study and start using your non-dominant hand. So if you're left-handed, use your right. If you're right-handed, use your left for non-life-threatening tasks, right? Don't do anything crazy that you're not used to. But here's a couple things that I want you to pick from, and over the next 2 weeks, I want you focused on them. So the first option is stirring your coffee. If you're a coffee drinker, tea drinker, that instead of stirring in that sugar or that milk with your dominant hand, you're going to switch and use the opposite hand. So stirring coffee is option number 1. The second option is to work on your posture. I found this very interesting, where if you continually focused on sitting up straight, right, getting in kind of that power pose, if you will, if you focus on something that you're not used to because it's easier to slouch down than to sit up, that's something that can test you and build that self-control as well. The third option, brush your teeth. The fourth option, open doors. The fifth and final option that you can pick from is to use your mouse at work, if you use a mouse, with your opposite non-dominant hand. Stirring your coffee, opening doors, brushing your teeth, using your mouse at work or at home, and working on your body posture. Let's recreate this study that was done at the University of South Wales. Let's start building our self-control so that we can ultimately last a little bit longer and not say or do something that we ultimately regret. Remember, we are trying to reach those goals in our life, and anytime that we reach that breaking point, we're taking a step back. So let's start getting tougher, building that self-control and getting to our goals in life faster. In the comments below, write what you chose to do. I would love to hear, kind of take a poll. I'll try to post this on Facebook as well and LinkedIn, but I'd love to figure out what you did and what results you see 1 and 2 weeks from now based on how you think and how you act. Enjoy this one, have a little fun with it, get your kids and spouse, significant other involved, and we'll see you very soon. As always, don't hold back.